Good afternoon from Montreal. Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve hosts an official World Touring Car 800 League round.
Clear skies, unforgiving walls, and a race where fuel and tyre wear will matter.
Andrew starts 20th, last, in the Canadian BRZ. 12 laps and the field is away. Serrano leads the charge into the opening sequence, while Andrew immediately searches for clean air at the back.
On a full tank, the BRZ needs rotation without sliding the rear. Patience over these curbs matters.
The pack compresses through Sector 1. Andrew is ready to attack, but there is no safe opening yet.
Aye, settle in. Cold tyres, full tank. Didn't he turn the first lap into a scrapyard?
He uses the wider entry, James. That gives the front tyres cleaner air and creates options on exit.
Okamoto and Inostroza are together ahead. Andrew gets the run, pulls alongside one, and suddenly both cars are within reach. 2 places in one sequence. Andrew clears the pair and climbs from 20th to 18th before the lap has properly settled.
Very clean. He waited until their lines crossed, then accelerated through the space they created. No contact, no wasted steering.
K de Bruin is next. The gap disappears under braking, and the Canadian BRZ is already showing the nose. Andrew commits, holds the inside, and takes 17th. P. Ura is immediately ahead, so there is no time to breathe. There is the switchback. Ura is cleared. Andrew is 16th, with Vitali directly ahead. Late on the brakes, neatly alongside, and Vitali has to concede. 5 positions gained on the opening lap. Lap 2 begins with Andrew 15th from 20th. The leaders are escaping, but the BRZ is cutting through traffic at remarkable speed.
P15, car's clean. Wee bit easier over the sausage curbs, or I'll send you the repair bill.
This circuit rewards every clean exit because it becomes speed for a very long straight.
Andrew closes on the next group. 3 cars separated by barely a length. One mistake could hand him several positions. He picks off another place as the train bunches under braking. 14th now, and the next 2 cars are already fighting.
He reads the traffic beautifully. The rivals watch each other. Andrew watches the empty lane beyond them.
Drumont is caught in that traffic. Andrew carries more speed through the change of direction and draws level. The order reshuffles quickly. Andrew emerges 12th, then attacks again before the field can reorganize.
P12. That was tidy enough. Didn't he get proud? Pride bends suspension.
Andrew keeps it composed and reaches 11th. The top 10 is directly ahead as lap 3 begins. A dense group from 8th to 11th arrives at the hairpin. Andrew dives toward the opening, but keeps the car off the rivals.
That restraint matters. The hairpin exit is the real passing zone because it feeds the longest acceleration run on the circuit.
The BRZ launches out of the corner, clears one car, and reaches the top 10. Hashima's orange Ferrari is next. Andrew closes rapidly, then positions the car for a move before the braking boards. Andrew completes it and takes 8th place. Miyazono's blue BRZ is now directly ahead. Same badge, very different race.
P8, blue BRZ ahead. Show him ours turns better, and try not to remove the paint, proving it.
2 BRZs run nose to tail. Andrew gets the better exit, pulls out, and takes 7th from Miyazono.
That was traction and confidence. Andrew committed earlier to throttle because his car was straighter at the apex.
The red and white car in 6th is under pressure now. Andrew shows one side, changes direction, and forces the defender to choose. The inside opens and Andrew takes it, 6th place from 20th. 14 positions gained before lap 4 is complete.
Now the pace at the front becomes relevant. Krause and Blackburn are fighting ahead, and that could pull Andrew into podium contention.
2 fighting ahead. Pick one lane and commit. No 3 wide heroics. Who am I kidding?
Krause and Blackburn are side by side, neither willing to yield. Andrew arrives behind them with far more momentum. Andrew dives into the gap. 3 cars converge through the corner. The BRZ threads between the battling pair, and he clears both.
That is superb awareness. Krause watched Blackburn, Blackburn watched Krause, and neither accounted for the car arriving with a cleaner exit.
4th place. Suzuki in 3rd is only a few car lengths ahead. Andrew closes through the fast change of direction. Suzuki covers the inside, but the BRZ stays close enough to attack again. Andrew gets alongside Suzuki and finishes the move. 3rd place. Only Gallo and Serrano remain ahead.
He must be careful with the rear tires here. Every aggressive exit helps now, but the accumulated wheel spin will be paid for later.
P3. Aye, impressive. Still 20 minutes of machinery for you to mistreat, so keep it sensible.
V Gallo's NSX is the next target. Serrano leads, but the battle for second is developing quickly behind him.
The NSX is strong under braking, so Andrew needs the better launch. He is building it now.
The BRZ closes, pulls into the slipstream, and moves out before the braking zone. Gallo tries to hang on around the outside. Andrew makes it stick, 2nd place from 20th. Serrano is now the only car ahead.
Discipline matters now. Andrew has reached the leader, but the first pit cycle could decide the race.
A brief calm at the front gives us time to revisit the move that launched Andrew from 6th to 4th.
Watch the 2 rivals drift toward each other. Andrew keeps 1 tire width of safety, delays the steering input, then accelerates through the space.
Back live, Serrano still leads, Andrew is 2nd, and the gap remains within striking distance.
P2. Fuel windows opening soon. Stay with Serrano, but dinny cook the fronts in his wake.
The leader can choose the pit timing. Andrew's advantage is flexibility. Stop early for clean tires or extend if Serrano commits first.
Andrew remains tucked behind the Porsche, close enough to threaten but not close enough to risk the front bodywork. Now the BRZ moves toward pit entry. This is the first major strategic decision of the afternoon.
Box this lap. Box. Box. Easy on entry. There's no prize money for flattening the
Andrew
pit
commits
wall.
to the lane from 2nd place. Serrano continues and the stopwatch takes over.
Fresh tires and fuel. The stationary time is substantial, but the important number is the traffic he rejoins into.
The crew works around the Canadian BRZ. 1 rival passes, then another. Andrew's race position falls while the service continues.
Watch the line. Cold tires. And for once, treat the throttle like it belongs to somebody else.
Andrew rejoins, and the timing settles him into 3rd. The strategy has cost track position, but given him fresh rubber for the chase.
This is workable. Gallo is ahead, Serrano still leads, and Andrew now has the tire advantage to attack rather than merely follow.
The gap to Gallo shrinks almost immediately. Andrew is asking more from the car now, and the response is unmistakable.
Tires are in. Use them. Don't murder them. Gallo ahead. Serrano beyond. Plenty of race left.
Fresh tires move the braking reference deeper, but Andrew must release the pedal smoothly.
Gallo defends the hairpin. Andrew stays outside, keeps the overlap, and refuses to surrender the corner. They run wheel to wheel through the exit. NSX against BRZ, neither driver giving away a centimetre. The BRZ edges ahead and completes the pass. Andrew is back to second, with Serrano once again the target.
P2, nice work. Car's still in one piece against all available evidence.
Let us see that again from inside the BRZ. The patience through the hairpin made the pass possible.
He opens the steering before using full power. That preserves traction and completes the pass.
Back to the race, and Andrew is closing on Serrano as lap 7 develops.
Serrano has controlled the event from pole. Andrew has spent the race in traffic, so their tires and fuel histories are completely different.
The gap is falling sector by sector. Serrano can see the Canadian colours growing larger in every mirror.
Gap 1.8 and dropping. Keep the exits clean. Dinny showing the move before you're ready.
That is important. At Montréal, an early defensive move can ruin the leader's next corner and create a second attack immediately.
Andrew is now within the slipstream. Serrano shades toward the defensive line, but the BRZ stays patient. No move yet. Andrew follows through the technical section, preserving the tyres and waiting for the long acceleration zones.
This circuit sits on Île Notre Dame and demands confidence between concrete walls. The straights invite attack, the chicanes punish impatience.
Half a second now. Serrano leads, Andrew stalks, and Gallo has begun to lose contact behind them.
You're in range. Use the toe. One clean move. Nail lunging from another postcode.
Andrew gets the run, Serrano covers, the BRZ changes line, and the two leaders arrive together at the braking zone. Andrew is alongside, late on the brakes, controlled over the curb, and he takes the lead of the race from 20th on the grid.
Serrano defended the first idea. Andrew used the second and changed the leader's braking angle.
But Serrano has not disappeared. The Porsche stays in the tow and closes again as they approach the hairpin. Serrano pulls alongside, hangs on around the outside, and retakes the lead. Andrew drops back to second. Andrew refuses to wait. He closes again, moves out of the slipstream, and attacks before Serrano can settle. Side by side once more, Andrew edges ahead, clears the Porsche, and retakes the lead. 3 lead changes in barely half a lap.
This time, Andrew finishes the move earlier and controls the following braking zone. Serrano has no immediate route back.
Andrew leads at Montreal. Serrano is second, Gallo third, and the Canadian-liveried BRZ finally has clean air. Now the field settles, we can replay that extraordinary exchange from the cockpit and the trackside cameras.
First, Andrew uses the toe. Serrano answers at the hairpin. Then Andrew attacks again before the Porsche can cool its tires or reset the defense.
Back live, the gap is beginning to grow, but tyre wear and another possible stop remain in the equation.
P1. Gap 1.2. Build it without chewing the rear tires to ribbons.
Andrew needs margin now. A second service may be required, and every second gained before pit entry protects the lead.
With lap 9 underway, Serrano remains visible, but no longer close enough to attempt to move. Andrew is precise through the chicanes, clipping the curbs without allowing the car to bounce toward the walls.
That is how you protect the tires here. One clean steering input, no correction, and acceleration only when the rear axle is settled.
That's better. Smooth hands, clean exits. Knew you had it in you somewhere.
A victory from the back would transform this league round. Prize money today, and a major result carried into the season standings.
And Serrano will remember the exchange. This is no invented rivalry. They have passed and repassed each other for the lead under real pressure.
Lap 10 begins. Andrew leads, Serrano holds second, and Gallo remains third, but increasingly distant.
Gap's healthy. Fuel looks good for the plan. Keep the wall out of the mirrors and the car out of the wall.
The BRZ looks balanced, even as the stint ages. The front still responds, and the rear is not sliding excessively on exit.
Behind the leaders, Kraus, Hashima and Miyazono are fighting over the remaining top 6 places while the field stretches around the island.
Those battles matter for the league. A single position can alter season momentum even when the victory fight is farther up the road.
Andrew begins lap 11 with a commanding advantage, but the final strategic decision is still ahead.
One more stop on the plan. Short service. Didn't miss the lane after doing all the difficult bits.
A late stop is safer mechanically, but it creates one last vulnerable moment. Any delay could return Serrano to the fight.
Traffic appears ahead. Andrew catches the tail of the field at exactly the point he wants a clean approach to pit entry.
The blue flags help, but the leader still has to predict where each car will yield. Hesitation costs time, aggression risks contact.
Andrew clears one back marker, then another, threading through without surrendering the lead margin.
Traffic ahead. Make it obvious, make it clean. Nae door banging with cars a lap down.
The BRZ turns toward pit lane. A short stop now could still protect the lead.
Box. Short service. Hit your marks. And don't park it in Quebec City.
Andrew reaches the crew from the lead, the car stops, the work begins, and every second feels much longer now.
A much shorter service. The team gives the BRZ only what it needs to reach the flag.
Go! Line's clear. Warm the brakes. Keep the tires underneath you.
Andrew accelerates away and retains the lead. Serrano never gets close enough to reclaim track position.
That is the race-winning margin at work. Andrew built the gap before stopping, so the crew did not need a perfect miracle, only a clean service.
Across the line, final lap at Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve, Andrew leads after starting 20th.
Final lap. Big gap. Bring it home. And for once, leave some car for the mechanics.
Now the challenge is concentration. With no rival beside him, the walls and the curbs become the only opponents.
The Canadian-liveried BRZ flows through the opening sector. No drama, no unnecessary risk, just the pace that built this enormous advantage.
The tires still have enough response. Andrew is braking earlier, releasing smoothly, and protecting the car rather than chasing another headline.
One final run toward the hairpin. Back markers are ahead, but none can interfere with the leader's route to victory.
Last sector, keep it tidy. If you hit the wall of champions now, I'll personally rename it after you.
Through the final chicane, away from the wall and onto the straight. From 20th on the grid, Andrew has conquered Montreal. Andrew wins the World Touring Car 800 League race at Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve, last to first in the Canadian BRZ.
A complete drive, 19 positions gained, 2 pit stops managed, Gallo beaten, and a 3-change lead fight with Serrano won.
The official result shows Andrew first in 20 minutes, 23.465 seconds, with Serrano second and Gallo third.
The winning margin is 37.521 seconds. Kraus takes 4th, Hashima 5th, and Miyazono completes the top 6.
Andrew also sets the fastest lap, 1 minute 37.467 on lap 7. The victory pays 170,000 credits.
More important for the league, this result establishes Serrano as a genuine rival. Their next meeting begins with unfinished business.
From Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve, for Luc Moreau and our increasingly relieved Scottish engineer, I am James Hartley. What a drive! Good afternoon.